Hello everyone, welcome to my channel BN Bioscience. Myself Vishnupriya Nayak. Today we will going to discuss on the topic superclass species and its general characteristics. So let's start. Superclass species. The members belongs to kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, as they consist of all the primary coded characters. Subphylum Vertebrata, as the notochord is replaced by the vertebral column. Division Gnathostomata, that means they having true jaw. The word pieces, it comes from a Latin word piscis, which meaning fish. So this member of this group, they having jaw, fins for their locomotion, and all having aquatic mode of life. This is a typical structure of a fish. We can see they having a streamlined body with well-developed lateral line system. The body is divided into the head, trunk and tail region. The head consists of the mouth, the eye. Here the maxillary system is also present. That means they having true jaw. Here the operculum is present that covers the gill silks, and the body is covered with numerous scales, and some fishes they don't have scales also. There are different type of fins are found: the dorsal fins, the median fins, the ventral fins, anterior and posterior fins, and the tail fins, that is called as the caudal fins. So let's discuss the general characteristics one by one. The first general characteristic is aquatic mode of life. So some fishes are marine and some are freshwater habitat. Let's see. The Pagulus bogarabio, it is found in marine water. They are the black spot sea bream. You can see black spot here. They are exclusively found in marine water. Next, the Archosargus. They are the sheep-head fishes. They are also marine in nature. Then Hippocampus, the sea horses. If we see the freshwater fishes, it includes the Labiorohita, the Anabas scandent, it is a climbing perch, sturgeon. So these three, they belongs to the marine habitat and these belongs to the freshwater habitat. The next characteristic is herbivorous or carnivorous mode of nutrition. So most of the fishes are herbivorous. They eat on the plant material and on algae, for example sturgeon, parrot fishes. Some fishes are carnivores. That means they eat on other animals such as small fishes, planktons, invertebrates, for example salmon, perch, piranhas. And some fishes are omnivores. That means they eat both on plant and animal products. For example, sunfishes, barb, angelfishes. The next characteristic is fishes are poikilotherms, that is cold-blooded. The poikilotherms or the ectotherms means their body temperature fluctuates with the surrounding environment. Actually, the organisms on the basis of temperature are divided into two main groups. One is warm-blooded, that we call the homeotherms, and the cold-blooded, that are the poikilotherms. In warm-blooded organisms, the body temperature remains constant like us, but in cold-blooded organisms, their body temperature is fluctuating with the fluctuating environment. That means if the outer environment is 0 degrees Celsius, then their body temperature will become 0 degrees Celsius. And if the outer environment is 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, then their body temperature also becomes 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. So to cope up on these extreme climatic conditions or extreme temperature, they develop some specific genes inside them. So they produce the heat shock proteins to protect themselves from the extreme heat, and to protect themselves from the freezing cold, they develop the anti-freezing proteins. The next characteristic is oviparous or ovoviviparous. So most of the fishes are oviparous. It means they are laying eggs. So here you can see this is a fish, they lay eggs. For example, tilapia, butterfishes, bowfins, etc. Some fishes are ovoviviparous, they bearing the eggs until hatches, but they don't nourish it. For example, hippocampus and Signathus. Here you can see the seahorse, but it is a male one. Here the female, they lay eggs, but the male, they carry these eggs in their brood pouch and they keep the eggs until they become mature enough to hatches. Then the baby fishes, they emerges out from the brood pouches, but they don't nourish it. Next category is the viviparity. Means some fishes, they also shows viviparity. Viviparity means they give the birth to the young ones. They keep the embryo inside their body and they nourishes it. Then after the embryo they get little bit developed, they comes out from the parent's body. Next category, that is the body is spindle shaped. So the all fishes, they having spindle shaped body, streamlined body, and basically if you see it is a spindle shaped. The birds are also having this spindle shaped body to counter the current. So here the fishes also, they having the spindle shaped body to cut the water current. And basically the body is divided into three regions: the head region, the trunk region and the tail region. Next characteristic is the locomotion, and they do locomotion through their fins. They having different type of fins: pectoral fins, pelvic fins, median fins, dorsal fins and caudal fins. And the fins, they are basically supported by the fin rays. We can see here there are different type of fins. These dorsal fins are basically, they help in staying upright position. The caudal fins, the tail fins, they are helping in the forward movements. The anal fins, they are for the balancing the body. The pelvic fins for steering. The pectoral fins are also for steering. So different type of fins are present in different fishes. Next one is exoskeleton and endoskeleton. So exoskeleton are in the form of dermal scales, denticles or bony plates. They are basically protective in functions. So denticles are small tooth-like projections that comes out from the body, and some fishes, they are also having bony plates on their body for the protection. Basically these bony plates are found in extinct species, and most of the fishes, they having scales. Some fishes, they don't have scales, and the scales are of various types. These are the placoid scales, ctenoid scales, ganoid scales, cycloid scales, cosmoid scales. So various type of scales are found. Fishes like sturgeon, They having denticles, scutes like bony plates. So this protect them from the predators. Endoskeleton, that the skeleton that present inside the body. Some fishes they having bony endoskeleton, some having cartilaginous endoskeleton. So according to that, also the fishes are categorized into different classes, and the notochord is replaced by the vertebral column. Jaws are hinge type. Then the respiratory system. Respiratory system, if we see, the respiration takes place by gills, and there are basically 7 to 5 pairs of gill shields are present, and these gills are covered by the operculum, or in some fishes they are found naked. They don't get covered by any type of operculum, and these gill systems are attached to the heart. So here the blood circulation is well ventilated, they are well vascularized, that is the blood supply is well supplied to these areas, and there are these gill arches are present. There is the exchange of the carbon dioxide and oxygen between the internal body and the outside environment takes place. Next one is the circulatory system. Here the heart of the fishes are two chambered. That means they having two chambers, one auricle and one ventricle. You can see here it is the atrium. You can say it is your auricle, and this is the ventricle. And here it also consists of the renal and portal system, that they consist of the attached to your kidney, and they having the sinus venosus present. Here this is the sinus venosus, and if we see their RBC, the red blood corpuscles are nucleated. If we see the higher vertebrates, we humans we having enucleated, means we don't have nucleus in the RBC, but in fishes they having nucleus in their RBC. Next one is the segmented muscles. So this is a peculiar characteristic we can found in fishes that we can't found in other vertebrates. So here the muscles are arranged in segments that are called as myotomes. Here we can see these are the some of the segments, and these are called as the myotomes. These are the red muscles, some parts are white muscles, and these myotomes are separated by myosepta. You can say myocomata also. So this is the TS transverse section. We can see it is of the codfish, and this myotome arrangement is different in different fishes. There is a ventral mass here, the abdominal cavity, the septum, horizontal septum, the upper masses, and this segmental body, these segmental myotomes, they separate the dorsal and the ventral part of the body. Then the digestive system. The digestive system, if we see the alimentary canal, it is complete one. It started from the mouth to the anus. It is a complete digestive system. And the alimentary canal, it consists of the stomach area, the pancreas, there are some glands also, and it terminates in the cloaca, or in some fishes the anus is present. You can see here the intestine is also there, the mouth, the oesophagus, the food pipe that surrounds the gill slits. This is the digestive system of perch. Then the excretory system. The excretory system, if we see, the kidneys are mesonephric type, and basically they are urotelic excretion. We can see here, that means they excrete urea. So reproductive system, next one, and we see the reproductive system, the sexes are separate, means male and females they are different. and they're having the paired gonads. The gonadocs are open independently, maybe, or may in some fishes they ends in the cloacal region. Fertilization is internal or external. Internal fertilization, that means the fusion of the male and female gametes takes place inside the body, and external fertilization, that means the male gametes and the female gametes, they fertilizes, they mixes, the fuse outside the body. Development is direct and they don't include any larval stages, and the development maybe include some metamorphosis, or it does not having metamorphosis, that is direct development into adult. They having large eggs with little yolk. You can see here the unogenital system of the male one and the female one. Everything is similar, only the gonads are different. Here we can see the male genital organ. Here the male genital apparatus ending here, and sometimes they ends up in the anus area, but here they get independently open up. And if we see, this is the excretory system, the kidney, the mesonephric kidney, and here the urinary bladder, the common urinary duct is there. These are the ureters, the trunk kidney, the head kidney, and here this is the male reproductive system, the testis. Here the sperm duct is there, and if you see the female one, the kidney is similar, and they having ovary, the oviduct is there. So this is here the reproductive system. So this is all about the general characteristic of the superclass species. Thank you all. Please subscribe if you like. Thank you.